For a long time, Discovery has been telling people to make their world bigger.
And that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
And you also have to serve ice cream before and after the event, of course.
And that was really one more problem.
The chemistry between the two hosts, dealer Mike Brewer and mechanic Edd China, was what made it work. They made magic with wheeler dealers by showing how to buy, fix up, and sell cars while also teaching their viewers about the whole process. But in 2017, that dynamic duo came to an end when Edd China suddenly left, shocking fans all over the world.
Is it true that Edd left because he didn't agree with the show? Or did their personalities clash? Or maybe something else is going on behind the scenes? And what did Mike think about leaving? When Wheeler Dealers first aired in 2003, it was a new kind of car show.
A focus on the whole process of restoring a car, from buying it to selling it. The show was all about finding a balance between two very different roles. Mike Brewer, a smart car dealer, would look for good deals on old cars and work out the best price he could get for them. On the other hand, Edd China, a skilled mechanic, would fix and restore those cars and trucks so they could be used again. What made Wheeler Dealers stand out was Edd's ability to explain complicated mechanical work in simple terms, which kept audiences interested with his technical knowledge. Car fans liked that Edd's methods were simple, clear, and easy to copy for people who wanted to try similar repairs at home. This level of knowledge became a trademark of the show and one of its biggest draws. Both critics and fans liked how well Edd and Mike worked together. Mike's lively, business-first style and Edd's calm, methodical style were very different, but they worked well together in a way that felt natural and relatable. This chemistry helped the show grow from a UK hit to an international hit, and it gained a lot of fans along the way. After moving its production to the United States, Wheeler Dealers reached new heights by 2013. This change let the show off a new range of cars and learn more about America's rich car culture. The move also brought the show to a wider audience around the world, making it one of the most popular car restoration TV shows. But as the show became more popular, it also became harder to make. Behind the scenes, the dynamic would start to break down, and for many fans, these cracks would become painfully clear in the years to come. As Wheeler Dealers became more popular, the show's original formula began to break down as it moved to international production and had to deal with the demands of filming for a larger network. Fans noticed small changes in later seasons, like shorter repair scenes and more focus on entertainment than on in-depth mechanics. But the real tension came out in 2017, when Edd China said in public that he was leaving the show. Edd said in a YouTube video about his departure that it wasn't his first choice to leave. Instead, it was a response to creative differences with the network, Velocity, which was later renamed MotorTrend. Edd said that the network wanted big changes that would cut down on the time and effort needed to show detailed mechanical work, which he thought was an important part of the show's identity. He said that the new direction made the work worse and wouldn't let him keep up the high standards that fans had come to expect from his restorations. When Edd left, the show changed in a big way. Mike Brewer stayed with the show, but the split caused a lot of fans to get angry, with many saying that the network cared more about saving money than making good content. Even Mike got involved in the controversy. He later said that he and his family got death threats after Edd's announcement, which was a clear sign of how passionate fans had become about the show. The changes behind the scenes also showed how the industry was under more pressure. As production budgets got tighter and the need for faster turnarounds grew, shows like Wheeler Dealers had trouble finding the right balance between being real and being efficient. Edd China couldn't accept these compromises, so he had to make the tough choice to leave the show. Fans were still split, even though the network said the changes were needed to modernize and streamline the show. It wasn't just losing a co-host when Edd left. It was a sign that the show was changing. One that a lot of people thought couldn't be replaced. Edd China's leaving Wheeler Dealers shocked fans and left a big hole in the series. A lot of fans were upset and blamed the network for what they thought was the show's loss of its core values. People on social media reacted right away, saying that Edd's in-depth technical explanations were what made the show different from other car shows. After Edd left, Mike Brewer always defended the show, saying that even though he understood Edd's choice, the show had to change to stay alive. But in an interview with The Sun, he said that the fallout cost him personally. Mike said that he and his family got death threats and abuse online, and some fans blamed him alone for Edd's leaving. "I had to call the police because someone said they were going to kill me," he said. "It was that bad. My daughter was also a target." This response showed how much fans loved the original format of the show. To keep the show going, Ant Anstead was brought in to take Edd's place. Ant, who used to be a police officer and now builds cars, brought his own skills and experience to the show to fill the gap left by Edd. Even though he tried to make the role more believable, fans had mixed feelings about it. Some liked Ant's energy and style, but others thought that the chemistry and dynamic between the hosts had changed for good. Fans also didn't like the new format of the show on the Motor Trend Network, saying that the number of repair sequences and technical depth kept going down. The show still focused on showing off interesting cars and deals, but it was clear that big changes had been made to fit with the network's focus on efficiency and a more entertainment-driven style. For Edd, leaving the show was a way to stand up for his creative integrity. But for Wheeler Dealers, it was a turning point. The series had to change its identity after one of its most popular characters left because of the backlash, the darker side of fan loyalty, and changes to the way it was made to meet production needs. After he left, Edd China found a new way to stay in touch with his fans while still being creative. He started his own YouTube series called Edd China's Workshop Diaries in 2021. The show let him get even more involved in technical projects without having to worry about network-imposed time limits. In this episode, Edd works on a variety of mechanical problems, such as fixing up rare cars, trying out new technologies, and going back to projects he didn't have time for when he was on Wheeler Dealers. Workshop Diaries was a welcome return to Edd's love of honesty and education for fans who thought the original show had lost its depth. Edd's new business also showed that he was still committed to doing things his way. He stayed away from the compromises he had to make while working on Wheeler Dealers by focusing on niche projects and experimental engineering. This direct link to his fans made sure he could talk to car fans who had been following his journey from the beginning. Mike Brewer, on the other hand, stayed the face of Wheeler Dealers. He did this while getting used to new co-hosts, first Ant Anstead and then Mark Elvis Priestley. The show was still popular in some circles, but a lot of fans said that the chemistry of the early years was gone. In interviews, Mike himself said that Edd's leaving had a lasting effect and that things were never quite the same after he left. He did say, though, that his goal was to keep the spirit of the show alive, even though he would do it in a different way to reach a wider audience. Wheeler Dealers still had some good times, even though things changed. Fans still compare Mark Priestley to Edd, but Ant Anstead brought a new point of view, and Mark Priestley later tried to bring a mix of technical skill and personality. But the constant complaints from people who miss the old format show that the show's legacy is now as much about its past as it is about its present. Edd and Mike's careers may have taken different paths, but dedicated fans still wonder if they will ever work together again, whether it's on screen or for a special project. For now, they are both still working on their careers, each showing a different way of looking at what Wheeler Dealers used to mean. Edd China's leaving Wheeler Dealers not only ended an era, but it also showed how creative differences can change the course of a beloved show. Even though tensions behind the scenes led to his leaving, his technical skills and teaching style are still a big part of the show's legacy. His insistence on sticking to his principles made a big impression on the industry, especially on viewers who cared more about realness than easy entertainment. Mike Brewer, on the other hand, has worked hard to keep the show going and make it relevant in the world of automotive television, which is always changing. But Wheeler Dealers is still defined by the tension between keeping the show's original spirit and meeting the needs of modern production. Even though new co-hosts brought new ideas, comparisons to Edd China never really went away. Many fans missed the show's old format. One of the most important things to remember about this time in the show's history is how important the hosts' relationship was to its success. Brewer said in an interview with Drive Tribe that it's hard to recreate the chemistry we had. It's hard to copy Edd's style because it was so unique. The fact that fans are still interested in Edd's work after Wheeler Dealers, whether it's through his Workshop Diaries or guest appearances on car shows, shows how important it is to have people who are really passionate about their work. While this is going on, Wheeler Dealers is still trying out different identities, trying to please both new viewers and longtime fans. Some people don't like the way the show is set up now because it makes restorations too easy, but newer fans who don't know the original dynamics see it as a fun and easy way to learn about classic cars. In the end, Edd and the show will be remembered for how important it is to be real and passionate in any creative project. People may think that Wheeler Dealers lost its spark after Edd left, or that it just changed direction, but there's no denying that it had a big impact on car TV. The story of Mike Brewer and Edd China, which included friendship, creative differences, and eventually going their separate ways, has had an impact on the show and on the people who watched it from the beginning.